The airport terminal buzzed with the restless rhythm of travelers rushing toward gates, dragging suitcases, checking screens, and clutching boarding passes like lifelines. The scent of coffee mixed with the hum of announcements echoed beneath towering glass ceilings. Among the sea of hurried faces, a small girl walked quietly beside a woman, gripping her hand with unsettling firmness. Her tiny steps seemed careful, almost calculated, as though she feared drawing attention. Then it happened. Her eyes locked onto a German shepherd sitting beside a uniformed officer near a security checkpoint. The dog sat still, alert, trained to detect danger invisible to human senses. The little girl subtly shifted her fingers in a peculiar pattern, her hand trembling as she raised it slightly toward the animal. It was a gesture so small that most people would never notice. But the police dog noticed. Within seconds, the calm security atmosphere shattered as the dog suddenly rose, ears forward, body tense, and began moving toward the child with unexpected urgency. Officers exchanged startled glances, unaware that the silent signal from a frightened little girl was about to unravel a truth no one was prepared to face. Before the story continues, make sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Black Voice Stories for more powerful and emotional real-life inspired stories. 4-year-old Emily Hart had once lived in a quiet suburban neighborhood known for its trim lawns and peaceful routines. Her laughter used to echo through playgrounds, and her innocent curiosity had made her beloved among neighbors. Her father, Daniel Hart, served as a K-9 officer in the city police department. He had spent years training service dogs, forming bonds with them that went far beyond professional duty. Emily grew up surrounded by discipline, compassion, and an unusual understanding of canine communication. She often sat beside her father during training sessions, observing how subtle hand signals guided dogs to react to hidden threats. She learned how trained dogs could detect fear, danger, and concealed substances through scent and behavioral cues. But her world shattered after her parents' divorce following months of escalating tension and emotional strain. Custody battles left emotional scars that Emily could never articulate. Eventually, she was placed under the primary care of her mother, Rebecca Lawson, who relocated them to a different city, far away from Daniel's influence and protective presence. Rebecca initially presented herself as devoted and determined to build a new life. However, financial struggles and questionable relationships soon entangled her in dangerous associations. She became romantically involved with a man named Victor Lawson, whose polished appearance concealed a darker reality. Victor operated within an underground trafficking network specializing in smuggling illegal substances across state and international borders. Rebecca, desperate for financial security, became entangled in Victor's operations. Initially, she believed she was only assisting with transportation arrangements. Over time, she became complicit in far more dangerous activities. Emily, too young to understand the depth of her mother's choices, sensed a constant tension. She witnessed whispered conversations, late-night visitors, and the frequent presence of unfamiliar strangers. Her cheerful personality slowly faded, replaced by quiet observation and anxiety. Meanwhile, Daniel Hart struggled with the loss of daily contact with his daughter. He channeled his emotional pain into his K-9 unit, working tirelessly with his assigned partner, Rex, a highly trained German shepherd known for exceptional detection instincts. Rex had been trained to recognize distress signals, conceal narcotics, and behavioral anomalies in crowds. Daniel often reflected on the subtle signals he had once taught Emily during their bonding sessions. He never imagined those childhood lessons would one day become her only means of silent communication. Months later, Rebecca informed Emily they were traveling internationally. She explained it as an exciting vacation, but Emily sensed a fear hidden beneath her mother's forced enthusiasm. Their hurried packing and strict instructions to remain silent about the trip raised unsettling feelings in the child's mind. The morning of their departure, Rebecca dressed Emily carefully, rehearsing instructions about behavior and silence. Unknown to Emily, hidden compartments had been sewn into the lining of Rebecca's coat, and inside a specialized travel bag designed to evade standard security scans. As they arrived at the crowded international airport, Rebecca's anxiety intensified. She gripped Emily's hand with unusual force, scanning the terminal constantly as if expecting surveillance or betrayal. Emily walked silently, clutching memories of her father's lessons about safety, trust, and communication. She did not fully understand her mother's actions, but her instinct screamed that something was dangerously wrong. The airport security zone operated with precision and routine. Officers rotated positions, scanning travelers and monitoring surveillance systems designed to detect threats before they escalated. Among them stood Officer Marcus Reynolds, a decorated K-9 handler known for his calm demeanor and exceptional partnership with Rex. Marcus and Rex had completed countless detection operations together. Their trust functioned like a synchronized rhythm built through years of training. Rex possessed extraordinary scent recognition abilities and was especially trained to respond to human distress signals. That morning, Marcus noticed an unusual restlessness in Rex's posture. The dog's ears shifted repeatedly as though detecting unfamiliar scent patterns drifting through the terminal air. Marcus maintained composure, trusting Rex's instincts but waiting for clear behavioral indicators. Rebecca and Emily approached the security line. Rebecca maintained forced composure, occasionally adjusting her coat as though ensuring concealed items remained secure. Her breathing pattern quickened, and subtle perspiration formed on her forehead despite the cool temperature of the terminal. Emily's gaze wandered until it landed on Rex. Her small heart raced as memories resurfaced, her father kneeling beside her, teaching her playful yet structured hand signals designed to guide trained dogs. She hesitated, knowing her mother would disapprove, yet something deep within her urged her to act. Her fingers trembled as she slightly raised her hand, forming the signal her father had once taught her meant distress and danger. The gesture lasted less than 2 seconds. Rex's reaction was immediate. His posture stiffened, ears sharply erect, nostrils flaring as he caught an unfamiliar chemical scent layered beneath human anxiety pheromones. Rex slowly rose from his seated position and locked his focus directly on Rebecca's travel bag and coat. Marcus noticed a sudden shift. Years of training allowed him to recognize that Rex had detected something significant. He followed Rex's movement carefully, avoiding panic or disruption, while signaling backup officers through discreet radio communication. Rebecca's grip on Emily tightened as she noticed the approaching dog. Her pulse surged, and she attempted to adjust her position in line, hoping to avoid direct interaction. But Rex approached calmly, circling once before stopping directly beside her. Airport security officers politely requested secondary screening, maintaining professionalism while escorting Rebecca and Emily to a private inspection area. Rebecca attempted to maintain composure, claiming confusion and irritation at the delay. Emily stood silently, her eyes filled with fear and fragile hope. The inspection began with routine scanning procedures. Initially, nothing appeared suspicious. Rebecca's confidence slightly returned, believing concealed compartments remained undetected. But Rex continued displaying alert behavior, focusing persistently on Rebecca's coat lining. Marcus authorized advanced manual inspection procedures. Officers carefully examined the coat seams and discovered hidden pouches containing tightly sealed narcotic packets designed to evade standard scanning technology. Rebecca's expression collapsed into shock and desperation. Officers immediately detained her while securing evidence and initiating investigation protocols. Emily stood frozen, overwhelmed by confusion and fear as her mother was escorted away. Airport authorities contacted Child Protective Services and initiated legal documentation. Emily sat quietly, clutching a small toy while unfamiliar officers attempted to comfort her. Rex remained seated nearby, maintaining calm presence as if sensing her vulnerability. During identification procedures, Emily quietly revealed her father's name. Authorities contacted Daniel Hart, who was stationed several states away. The call reached him during an ongoing training exercise. Hearing his daughter's involvement in a criminal investigation triggered immediate urgency and fear. Daniel arranged emergency leave and traveled to the airport jurisdiction overnight, his mind consumed by anxiety, guilt, and determination to protect his daughter. Daniel arrived at the airport police division exhausted but resolute. When he entered the Child Services office, he found Emily sitting quietly, clutching her toy and staring blankly at the floor. The moment their eyes met, the emotional barrier she had built shattered. She ran into his arms, releasing months of suppressed fear and loneliness. Daniel held her tightly, overwhelmed by relief and heartbreak simultaneously. Investigators briefed Daniel about Rebecca's involvement in international trafficking operations. Evidence indicated she had unknowingly transported narcotics multiple times under Victor's direction, but recent shipments involved higher risk and larger criminal networks. Rebecca faced federal charges, while investigations expanded toward Victor and his associates. Authorities discovered connections to multiple trafficking routes involving coercion and manipulation of financially vulnerable individuals. Emily's silent signal became critical evidence demonstrating that she had sensed danger and sought help. Psychological specialists noted her remarkable recall of canine training signals and her instinctual decision to communicate silently under threat. Daniel cooperated with investigators, providing insight into canine behavioral recognition systems. Rex's alert response received departmental commendation for preventing an international narcotics distribution attempt. Meanwhile, Rebecca's interrogation revealed layers of coercion. She admitted Victor had threatened both her and Emily, forcing her compliance through intimidation and manipulation. Her cooperation led authorities to dismantle a larger trafficking network spanning multiple countries. Emily began therapy to process trauma and emotional confusion regarding her mother's arrest. She struggled to reconcile memories of maternal affection with the reality of criminal involvement. Daniel supported her through counseling, determined to rebuild trust and emotional stability. Media coverage soon transformed Emily into a symbol of courage and silent resilience. News outlets highlighted the significance of canine partnerships and the role of instinctive human awareness in crime prevention. Rex received public recognition ceremonies, though Daniel privately emphasized that Emily's bravery remained the true heroism behind the operation. Months passed as legal proceedings unfolded. Rebecca accepted a plea agreement, acknowledging her involvement while providing testimony against Victor's organization. The network's collapse prevented numerous trafficking operations and protected countless potential victims. Emily gradually returned to school life, though her quiet demeanor reflected emotional maturity far beyond her age. She developed interests in animal therapy programs, finding comfort and trust through interactions with trained service dogs. Daniel continued serving in the K-9 unit, now balancing professional duty with single parenthood. He dedicated time to educating communities about child safety awareness and the importance of recognizing silent distress signals among vulnerable individuals. Emily often accompanied him during public safety demonstrations, carefully observing training sessions and occasionally assisting under supervision. Her bond with Rex deepened into a therapeutic friendship that supported her healing process. The story reached national attention, sparking discussions about the hidden impact of trafficking networks on families and children. Advocacy organizations used Emily's experience to promote awareness campaigns focused on child protection and domestic vulnerability prevention. Years later, Emily stood beside her father during a community ceremony honoring K-9 service contributions. The applause surrounding her symbolized not only gratitude but recognition of silent courage that can emerge from the most fragile individuals. Her small gesture inside a crowded airport had changed countless lives, dismantled criminal operations, and reunited her with a parent who had once taught her the power of silent communication. The legacy of that moment served as a reminder that awareness, training, and instinct can combine to expose injustice even when voices remain unheard. If this story moved you, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe to Black Voice Stories. For more powerful, emotional, and real-life inspired stories that highlight courage, resilience, and justice,